See, this is about say for example you have a different building management system. Okay, this for the, you can say for the guest rooms. Say for example this is a fan call
Mhm.
unit connected with the guest rooms. Okay, so when you talk about here you have a fan call unit, right? Then you have an actuator. Normally, as I said, actuator plus two-way valve. Okay, PSEV valve you can say here. Okay, then you have a
Mhm.
thermostat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is normally you can say that sometime when you go with multiple apartments, right? For example, you are going with the hotel rooms. Okay, you have a hotel room, you have a multiple spaces, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so each and every space you have a fan call unit connected with thermostat, for example. Okay, so this thermostat normally what will have, it will have a control. Say for example, you have a temperature sensor. What is the temperature inside? Okay, and what is the PSEV? Like what is the chilled water flow rate? Okay, then you have a fan speed. What is a different fan speed, right?
Mm.
Okay, so these all you can connect with the BMS system. Say for example, this is actually standalone type. Okay, then you have a BMS type. Say for example, you know that there is a DDC controller for the BMS side. Okay,
Okay.
say for example, you have a two-way port valve connected with the DDC panel. Okay, then you have a room temperature
Okay.
sensor connected with the DDC panel. Then you have a fan speed
Mhm.
connected with the DDC panel. Okay, so this case
Okay.
you cannot do any control here. This control will be done by only the guest room, guest people. Like who is the guest? They can only do the control by means of thermostat.
Okay.
Okay, but here you can have a control by means of BMS. Okay, so where this is applicable, say for example, this is applicable for the guest rooms, where you will do
Fine.
the guest will be controlling the FCU. He want
Mm.
to
Mm.
switch on, he want to change the temperature. Okay, so
Yeah.
that will be controlled
Mm.
by guest. So here
Mm.
there is no BMS system. This is
Okay.
completely by guest room management system.
Okay.
Okay,
But is
but
that
when you
like a
talk about
separate system in itself, or is it like the
it
thermostat
is a
itself
it
handles
is a it
everything?
is a separate system. Say for example, you might have seen different hotels. Okay,
Yeah.
they call it
Yeah.
as a guest room management system, GRMS.
Mm.
So GRMS is
Yeah.
nothing but remember when you go to the hotel, you have a key, right?
Mhm.
Like there is a key card.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you insert the key card inside, you can see that there is a FCU will on, then your light will
Yeah. When
on.
you when you place the card within the holder
That is
itself,
called a
all of it
guest
will
room.
start
That is
working.
called a guest room management system.
Okay.
Okay, so this control everything. You can control the lighting. You can control your FCU. You can control whatever is inside. Okay, like
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
systems. That is called guest room management system. But that is
Yeah.
standalone type because that will be controlled only by means of guest.
Yes.
Okay, but here like common areas, like say for example, you have a corridor, or you will be having
Mhm.
a storage rooms, or you have electrical
Mhm.
rooms where you have a common
Mhm.
rooms. Okay, so that will be controlled by landlord. This is a guest, this is the landlord, or this is a tenant, or this
Landlord.
is a landlord.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
landlord
Yeah.
cannot go to each and every spaces to control their FCUs, right? Say for example, you have
Yeah.
a different
Understood.
electrical rooms, different type of plant rooms. Then you have a different type of
Mm.
corridors, different locations. Okay, so you want to
Yeah. Yeah.
control. Say for example, some guest or some people are saying that this corridor having a less temperature or it's very hot. Okay,
Mm.
so they
Mm.
will call the tenant because they cannot control the corridor, right? Because corridor
No.
having a multiple tenants, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that particular people may complain to the, say for example, landlord or service people. They can control the temperature by means of BMS,
Mm. Mm.
or
Mm. Mm. Mm.
sometimes
Mm.
the FCU is faulty, it's switched off. So they know that
Mm.
through the BMS, yes, it's not working,
Mm.
or it is
Mm.
a
Mm.
faulty.
Mm.
So that can be controlled by means of BMS system. So normally what you have, you will be having a DTC control panel. Like you can
Okay.
see that analog input, digital input, analog output, digital output. Okay. This
Okay.
I can tell you that what is analog input, digital input, analog output,
Yeah.
digital output. I can tell you, like I will give you some small write up. In that, by means of that, you can understand.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Uh, so this all the DTC panel connected to the main controller. Okay, like
Okay.
you might have seen
Yeah.
there is a BMS rooms, right? BMS room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the BMS room having a main control panel, like a master control panel, that will be connected to the all controller. If you go to each and every floor, you have a DTC controller. That DTC controller will be connected to the nearest FCU or nearest AHU. Okay.
Okay. So just to understand, so the BMS system is like the entire system in itself. From the BMS system, if you drop it down, it goes down to the DDC controller, correct?
Yeah, DTC controller. Yes, yes.
And from the individual DDC controller is connected to an individual DDC panel, right?
Come again.
So BMS is like the entire BMS for all of the tenant. Say, for example, I'm using the tenant corridor, the landlord corridors, for example.
Okay,
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 all the landlord corridors will have like a it's like a central room or something, which basically would be used for monitoring and controlling all of the FCUs within all of the landlord corridors, for
okay,
example.
okay,
So
okay.
from that BMS, your signal is going down to the DDC controller, correct?
Yeah, DDC
From
controller.
the
Yes.
and the DDC controller, DDC panel are the same thing, or are they different?
It will be same only. All are controllers. Still similar type of controller.
Okay,
One
so that
only you have
means
to program.
DDC.
You only have to program.
Okay, so basically, DDC controller essentially is that you said the analog input, analog output, digital input, digital output. Basically,
Yeah, yeah,
that is
yeah,
the
yeah,
DDC panel or
yeah,
controller, what you call
yeah,
it,
yeah,
correct?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. So typically let me ask you when you're doing hotels or anything for that you have when you say your the landlord areas that when we typically say do we have like a separate BMS system for landlord corridors and a separate system for all the other spaces, or is it like one common BMS room or BMS system for all of the landlord areas? Is
All the
that how it
landlord area.
works?
Yeah, yeah. All the landlord
Okay.
areas. Yes, yes,
It's not
yes.
like you have individual BMS system for the corridor, individual for the
No, 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 no,
rooms,
no,
individual.
no,
No.
no. Not like that.
Okay.
Let
Okay.
me
Okay.
try to
Okay.
pull out the schematic diagram. I have one
Sure. Sure.
schematic. Uh, yeah, I think this I can open. System architecture.
Sure.
Yeah, you can see in this. You can see in this picture.
Yeah.
Okay. See, there is a DDC controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
This DTC controller connected to the transfer pump, irrigation transfer pump, extract fans, all these equipments connected to one DTC controller.
Mm-hmm.
DTC controller is like
Mm-hmm.
controller. Okay.
Okay.
Then you have all FCUs connected to the DDC, right? So
This is
FCU
what I'm
having
asking. So
FCU
if
having a
you
different
see,
FCU having each FCU having a controller.
okay,
Each FCU will have a controller. Okay.
okay,
Then also you have a DDC connected to the car park sump pit, lift sump pit, CO
mm-hmm.
sensor, everything, right?
Yeah,
Like that,
but yeah,
like that. Yeah,
multiple DDC controllers are there basically.
yeah. Multiple DDC controller connected to the. You can see that there is a BMS room, right?
This
In
is
this
what I
BMS
wanted to
room, you have
understand.
another. You can say that there is another DDC. You can say another main DDC.
Okay, for
Okay,
per
so that
floor you will have like a common
yeah,
DDC,
yeah.
and then all
All
of that
all
common
connected to the
DDCs.
connected to here. Okay. Then from
Mm-hmm.
here it will go to the your BMS station, BMS workstation.
Station.
So there where you
Okay,
can
this
see
is
that
what I wanted to understand.
graphics. You can see the graphics like say for example you might have seen that FHU how FHU look like. In that FHU
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have a
and
fan
then that will
running,
mention like what are the set temperatures, what is the
set
inlet
temperature.
temperature,
Yeah. So
pressure, temperature, and
that will
everything.
be like yeah, that will be like here. You can see that if it is FHU, what are
Yeah.
the things you are monitoring? This particular DDC panel connected to the each and every sensors. Say for example, filter status. Okay,
Mm,
two-way control
mm,
command, two-way value command. You can command PACV. Like you can change the settings. Like for example, if you
mm,
change the
mm.
temperature, it will control the PACV, right?
Yeah, I see this.
Okay, then you have a reheat command. Okay, then supply run status. What is the status
Mm,
of the fan, whether it is running
mm,
or off. Okay, then you have a hand auto switch. Like auto status means you can able to operate your equipment by from the BMS.
mm,
Okay, then you can control the VFD command, VFD control command. Okay, then you can
mm,
check the supplier temperature, pressure sensor, right?
mm,
So this is one
mm.
DDC controller. This is one DDC controller. That is what you have seen here. This DDC controller.
Okay. Mm, mm,
Say for
mm, mm,
example,
mm.
this DDC controller. So this DDC controller you can connect with the multiple equipments. You can connect
Okay,
with
okay, okay,
the
okay.
CO sensor.
Mm,
You
mm,
can connect with
mm.
the staircase pressurization fan. You can connect with the
Okay.
CCU. Different
Mm,
equipments.
mm, mm,
But
mm,
FCU will
mm,
have
mm,
a
mm, mm.
different controller. FCU will have a separate controller. Call it
Okay.
as a FCU controller.
Oh, okay. So, oh, this is like this DVC is only everything other than an FCU, basically, right?
Yeah, other than because FC having a separate controller.
Okay. So all of these FCU for the FCUs, you will have like a separate controller like DDC. Say it's like if you have a DDC B1-02 for all the other areas, then you will have a DDC B103 for FCUs alone.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this is
Yeah.
they don't say that is a DDC controller.
Yeah.
They say as it as a FCU controller.
Just an FCU controller. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. Understood.
Clear,
I
right?
understood. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
like that, you'll be connecting all the equipments, whatever we have equipment in as per our HVC design. Okay,
Yeah,
you have a
yeah.
design with the different FCUs for different spaces. You'll be connecting all the FCUs with the DDC FC controller or all the HVC equipment. Not only HVC equipment, you can also connect plumbing equipments. You can also
Hmm,
connect electrical equipments. You can
hmm,
also connect with you can monitor sometime firefight. See here, FCC smoke management fan.
hmm, hmm,
Okay, you can monitor. It's only monitoring. You cannot control sometime smoke
hmm,
management,
hmm, hmm, hmm,
fire suppression. You cannot
hmm,
control. Only monitoring.
hmm,
Lift
hmm,
you
hmm,
cannot
hmm.
control. Lift having separate controller. You can monitor.
Yeah. For example, now you're saying, no, I understood your concept, where there are some DDC controls that are only monitor only, whereas there are some DDC controls which could do monitor and control as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
See,
my
basically,
question is,
HVC equipment is basically all control. HVC equipment.
okay,
Okay,
when you mean
if it is a
HVC,
chilled
you mean
water,
any,
if it is
yeah,
like chilled water,
okay. When I mean to say, but if it is anything regarding fire or smoke is monitor only, basically.
only monitor only. And also, I will tell you
Okay.
something
Yeah.
different. Say, for example, you have a lighting control panel. Okay,
Hmm.
so lighting will be controlled by standalone control panel.
Okay.
So that will be only monitoring by BMS.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm,
Okay,
hmm,
assume
hmm,
that
hmm.
you have a HVAC, you have a VRF system. So VRF having a separate controller. So that cannot be controlled by BMS. So BMS will only monitor.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
wherever you
Okay.
have a
Okay. Okay.
standalone control, you can
Hmm, hmm.
monitor through BMS only.
Okay. Equipments with more standalone control. Huh? Okay.
Yeah, standalone, there is a separate. If you go to standalone controller, it is again like BMS only. Say, for
Hmm.
example, you have a guest room management system, right? Guest room
Hmm.
management, all the guest room management will have a dedicated control panel. So that dedicated control panel is nothing but again, it's like DTC only. It's a controller,
Hmm.
but
Just a
that
control.
cannot be controlled by BMS system. They say it as a guest room management system, but it is all like you can say like the name is terminology is different.
Hmm, 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 hmm,
You call it
hmm,
as a building management system, okay, but it's a
hmm, hmm,
controller,
hmm, hmm,
and you call it as a guest management system. Again, it is a controller, but maybe different type of manufacturer, different type of technology,
hmm,
but it's all
hmm,
controller.
hmm, 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 hmm. No, no, no. I think I've got your point. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
clear, right?
okay.
So maybe I can
Okay.
share
Yeah.
with you one of the BMS schematic just for your
Sure.
idea, and also I have
Yeah.
some BMS submittals. Just will share it with you. Just go through. There are
Hmm.
DDC points.
Hmm.
Clear, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So can I stop the recording?
Yeah. Sure. Sure.